It's here. I actually have now the printed version of your video playbook, the book that I've been working on with you as you've been writing yours. You have been working on your book, haven't you? Well, I'm going to tell you how I created the printed version. Our previous career, I had a side business that was a greeting card business for parrot lovers. So I know a little bit about printing, and those are the kind of things that are going to be very important for you to understand when you create your printed version. Creating the ebook is the easy part, and why I recommend that you do that first. The paper version is going to be a pain in the tuchus at times for certain things you need to do, but I'm going to save you time. Now, you could use a bunch of different available self-publishing sources. Lulu is very common. Lightning Source is another one. I used CreateSpace, which is associated with Amazon.com. Phenomenal place. They have a community board and a blog that will help you through every step of the way of publishing your book. I cannot tell you how friendly and responsive they are. There is a process, but they give you all the tools to make the process easier. Now I'm going to break this up into two separate videos because there's probably going to take time on what you're going to have to do for each one. The first part is going to be the interior because that's very, very important. You need to choose the book dimensions. This is probably what you see most of, and it is a 6 by 9. You need to choose that because it's going to tell you the margins and the size of the paper that you're actually going to create. And they will give you a template, and they give you guidelines saying how much of a margin you're going to need on your books. Be very conscious of the text, the font that you use. That is tip number one. Once you get your ebook that it fits inside the margins, you'll get an idea on how many pages it's going to be. Now, I like working on the computer at a 12-point font. And I use, because it's a clear, crisp font, Vernanda, V-E-R-N-A-D-A, I think it is. Check the call out, I'll correct it there. Within those margins, you need to decide how big is going to be the print. Now, I want to make some changes on this, whether I do or not, because it's more cosmetic. It's up to you. But if you go and bought a book out, they wouldn't have a lot of spacing between the lines. I created a 1.15. I think that's fine. I also chose a 12-point font. That, seeing it in print, if I'm going to redo it, I'm going to reduce that to either 10 or 11, maybe 11. To me, it just seemed to be just a little bit too big. It's not bad. I mean, for your readers that are over 40, they'll prefer it. But if you're, what I think most books, they don't have the 1.15 spacing between the lines, and they don't have it as big as 12 point. And that's important because the larger the font, the larger the spacing, the thicker the book. And that affects the pricing of the book. I also created extra spaces between the paragraphs. I don't mind that. I think that I like that look. I just think I would actually close this into a single space 11 point with still the spaces between the paragraphs. It's just easier on the eyes. Contrary to what most people think, the more white space, the easier it is, the cleaner it looks. The next important point to think about is your header and footer. Whatever you create on the header and footer, put a blank space of maybe a 0.8 font line underneath. So for here, I have my header, and you'll have that little extra space before your text will start. I didn't do enough with the footer. There are certain pages where it actually kind of runs over a little bit, where it actually cuts over onto some of the some of the header. So if I had just put an extra space, an extra line of just a 0.8, it would have created it so that this page would have given enough space between the footer and the actual text of the book.